Hi, I'm Emma. Welcome to Emkie Sews. Today I thought I might join in with my first ever Friday sews. I haven't done one of these before, so yeah, I thought I would just tell you what I've been up to this week. I've actually spent most of my week cataloguing patterns. A while ago, Teresa from Lost My Thread talked about ThreadLoop, which is a app that is for sewing people, and I decided a week and a bit ago that I would investigate it and see if it was for me, and I decided that it was for me. It's really quite easy to use and I like the visual aspect. So I started cataloging my pattern stash. I still have quite a number of free patterns that I have gathered over the years to add to that stash. I haven't started on any of my bag sewing patterns or my toy sewing patterns that I have from my many years of doing those things before starting garment sewing. So I've only catalogued my garment sewing patterns, except for the free ones. But then my mother-in-law offered me her pattern stash. She said, you can go through mine, catalogue mine, you can borrow any that you want, and once you've catalogued them, I'll have them back, and you just hang on to the ones that you want to make. So I kept a few patterns, only 4, and I'd like your help working out which one I should start with. This is the first one. This is Butterick 3634. I'm not sure it has all the pattern pieces. I'll put on the screen when it was published because I've forgotten, but I did do some research and I put it into ThreadLoop. But it comes in a bust of 80 to 97 centimeters, which is 31.5 inches to 38 inches. My full bust is 119 centimeters, which I think is about 47 inches, but my upper bust is around 100. I fluctuate between 98 and 102. My upper bust measurement is usually the measurement that I use when I'm going to do a full bust adjustment, and I will need to do a full bust adjustment on this pattern. This is a size 14, so I'm going to have to do a full bust adjustment from 92 centimeters to 119 centimeters, so that's quite a large full bust adjustment, so I'm not sure how that's going to go. This is a pattern for knits, and it is a dress. Just show you the line drawing on the back. To start with, I'm just going to make it as a top because I'm not willing to use the full length of dress fabric if I'm not sure if it's going to work out, and seeing as I have to do such a large full bust adjustment on this pattern, I'm really not sure. I would really like to make this one. I really like the detail on the shoulders. If you can see the back image here on the pattern, you can see how the dress is constructed with a longer section that obviously, if you look at this picture, that longer section on the bodice wraps around to the front of the bodice, creating the shoulder. So that is pattern number 1, and I would really like to make this one. So, but I'm going to leave the choice up to you which one I make up first. So that's number 1. This is pattern number 2. I'm most wanting to make this version, which is version A. This is labeled as a very easy vogue. I've heard vogue patterns are sometimes hard to make, so let's hope. I'll show you the line drawing of version A. The back of the pattern says this top is a close-fitting pullover top that has various neckline variations. Variation A, which is the one that I would want to make, has a front yoke and an elastic back. That's all it says about version A. It comes in a size 6 to 22, and it has some bust size options. So it comes in a bust of 78 centimeters to 117 centimeters, and size 18 has a bust of 102 centimeters. So that's the size that I would use, and then I would do a full bust adjustment because I just find that doing that fits me a lot nicer on the shoulders and neckline, and then I have the space that I need further down when I do a full bust adjustment, so that's why I do them. So yeah, so looks like I would need a size 18 to do that, but I didn't look at the sizes before I recorded this video, but as you can see, the biggest size in this packet is a 16. but I really like the asymmetrical neckline, and I'd like to see how that one turned out. I'd probably change it to short sleeves, just because we're going into summer, so I'm not going to be wearing a top that has long sleeves till next year. So if you choose this pattern for me to make, then I think it would end up being a short sleeve. I didn't say what the number of this one is. Very easy, Vogue 7545. That's the second choice. And the third choice is another very easy Vogue pattern. This one is Vogue 7967. And luckily, this one has been purchased in larger sizes. So this one is a 14 to 20, but the pattern did come in 6 to size 20. This one was published in 2004, so 21 years ago. And the version I would like to make is also version A again. It's this boat neck raglan sleeve version up there. This pattern is described as a pullover knit top with raglan sleeve variations and a low round neckline. Version A, the one that I want to make, has flared long sleeves. Also another long sleeve pattern that I would probably make into a t-shirt for summer, because we are going into summer. It comes in a bust size of 77 centimeters to 107 centimeters. So that is choice number 3. Choice number 4, so this one was published in 1975. It is this pattern. This is a style pattern and it is number 1156. And it comes in a size 8 to 16, which is a bust of 80 to 97 centimeters. Like for all of these, I'm going to have to do a full bust adjustment, but okay, I'm not afraid of doing that. This says it is a young shape design. You can see that it is a cute little summer dress, and it has a square neckline, quite short bodice that looks like it just covers the bust, and then it flares out into a skirt, so more like an empire waistline, and you can make it with no sleeves or with sleeves. That is choice number 4. Out of all 4 patterns, this is the only pattern that hasn't been cut, so I'm pretty sure that all the pieces are there. I have no idea if all the pieces are in the packets for these 3. So if you guys choose something that doesn't have all the pieces and I'm not going to be able to make it, I'll just go with the next option in line. At some point I'd like to make all of these. The one I'm leaning most towards is this butterick one. I just think it would look really nice as a t-shirt. Bit of a different design, and I think I would learn quite a bit in making this one because I've never made something that has the back bodice come so far over to the front neckline to form the shoulder. So I think that would be really interesting to make. And my second most wanted to make one is this Vogue one in version A, just because of the very interesting neckline. So those would be my 2 choices, but I'll give you all 4 as an option, and I'll put a poll on my community tab, and I'll also probably put a poll up on my Instagram stories, and hopefully I get to make one of the ones that I want. That is something that I want to do. I've probably spent about a week-ish cataloguing all the patterns that I've catalogued from my stash so far, and all the patterns that I have catalogued from my mother-in-law's. I'll put a picture on the screen of what my room looked like earlier this week. It was quite a mess with all of the patterns around. In my mother-in-law's stash there was a lot of loose pieces, ripped envelopes. I managed to sort it all out, and I have reorganized her stash into a nicer order. I might try to take a little video of her stash all organized and pop it in here for you. I'm looking forward to giving that back to her, and hopefully she's happy with all of the work that I put in to tidying it up. The other thing that happened this week was some of the prizes were announced for So Phoenix September, and I won a prize with my little dinosaur that I made, which I have given to my nephew. So this is what it looked like. So I won 3 PDF patterns from Maison Fauve, and I chose as my prize these 3 patterns that I'll pop up on the screen because I've forgotten their names. I tried to choose patterns that had something a little bit interesting and that I knew I would probably make. One of the patterns is a t-shirt with these fold-up bits on the shoulders. So I thought that looked really interesting, so I wanted to give that one a go. Another top had princess seams, and I haven't made a princess seam top before, so I decided that that was a really good option to try. And then the last was a jumper, or a sweater as some of you around the world call it, and I chose this one for the pleats that they have on the sleeves. Haven't done any of those techniques before, so I decided to add those three to my pattern stash, and they will be already loaded into my ThreadLoop. I'm going to make sure that I put my ThreadLoop link in the description, so you're welcome to go into my account. I'm pretty sure you can have a look through the patterns that I have. I would love to hear if you think I should make one sooner rather than later. If you have any experience, any favorite patterns that I have in my stash, happy to hear all about your experiences with the patterns that I have. After going through most of my pattern stash and my mother-in-law's pattern stash, I think I have like 600 and something patterns loaded up on there. And that's a lot. So I am going to try and cool my jet, so to speak, and not purchase any patterns for the next little bit. I'm thinking about 2026 being a complete pattern buying ban, or maybe I'll just limit myself to 6 patterns for the whole year or something like that. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it, just came to my mind just now. The last thing I wanted to talk to you about is something that I finished sewing this week, and that is my Around the Block Hoodie by Ellie and Mac. I'm going to put some pictures up on the screen because I can't seem to get the whole hoodie on screen for you. This is my Around the Block hoodie. I made a size extra large, and I decided to refashion 2 old jumpers that I haven't really worn and incorporate it in with some remnant fabric that I had from a jumper I made for the last video, and amalgamate it all into this one hoodie. The stripy jumper was the Emily top. I'll put up on the screen what the pattern was. The purple jumper is the Unwind Sweater by Pattern Emporium, so I'll leave that one linked below. I am a Pattern Emporium affiliate, so if you click on my link and if you purchase the pattern, I'll get a small commission, but it doesn't make the item any more expensive for you. So yeah, so I decided to cut up those 2 jumpers and make this new Around the Block hoodie by Ellie and Mac. And I wanted to make it this week because there is a sale on at Ellie and Mac. And I'll put the dates of the sale up on the screen. My affiliate link for that pattern is also down below. Same rules apply. I get a tiny commission if you decide to purchase the pattern, but there's no extra cost to you. Some obstacles I had to overcome when making this jumper was I'd cut out all the pieces, and then I discovered that on the purple fabric right on the front was a stain, and I didn't have any more leftover fabric to try and cut this piece differently, so I decided to cut out some butterflies and applique them on over the stain so that it looked like that was the plan all along. Another obstacle I had to overcome was I wanted to use a lightish weight fabric for the lining of the hood, but I didn't have any more of the purple fabric left. And then on the inside of the hood, I used the last little remnant from the jumper that I also shared last week and was my entry to the Precious Fabric Challenge. I didn't make any changes to the extra large size other than grading out at the hips. I didn't do a full bust adjustment. I'm really pleased that it actually fits and it looks really good. It's a tiny bit long, but I didn't add any length to it or anything. I think it fits really nicely, and I'm going to get a lot of wear out of it during spring and then again in autumn when the weather cools down a bit. I generally only wear long sleeves outside at the moment. I get quite warm, as you can tell from what I'm wearing. What I'm wearing is the Pattern Emporium Exhale top. This is one of my favorite t-shirt patterns from Pattern Emporium, and I wear them all the time, so I'll pop a picture of this one up for you to see as well. So how does Friday Sews go? What I've been doing, what's been going on in my sewing room, and then I think a little bit about life. Life has just been plodding along. Kids have gone back to school this week, so life has gone back to normal. I've been just doing normal mum things. This weekend I'm going to be joining in with the Weekend Sewing Club's live session. We're going to be sewing this month's pattern, which is the culottes, and I'm really excited about hopping on and sewing with everybody. I didn't have anything else to share with you today, so that's it from me. I hope you have a creative day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.